What up, YouTube? Knives and Gear Insights with another short unboxing first impression video of another knife I picked up from Amazon. Today we have a Tactical Gearz, which I've never heard of this brand before. This is brand new to me. I just browsed knives on Amazon and I saw this, and this was it's still a budget knife, but it has something going for it, which usually budget knives don't have much going for, which is it has titanium scales, and it's got a Damascus blade. Yes, it's budget steel. I think from what I read, the core is VG10, so it's not high end Damascus steel it's just basic Damascus. But it kind of looks. It reminds me of like one or two knives that are out there a little bit. I mean, it's not a clone, so I'm clear. I'll be clear about this. I do not review clones on my channel, and this is not a clone of any knife. Like I said, if when I unpack it, you will see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I will not review clones. But this is very similar to like two higher end knives, especially one that's been cloned in China a lot of times. Like it's the Gearz series, the Gearz knives. And this knife looks pretty similar, but yeah, let's get into it, and then you see what I'm talking about. So we got the box with the knife. What else is in here? Oh, a sheath that you can put on your. It's pretty cheap. I mean, this is nothing really special. It's just really thin. You can put this on your belt, and that's pretty much everything we have in this pouch. So yeah, well, let's put this to the side and let's look at the box. The box is not some high-end box. It's just looks like a basic box. But yeah, let's get into it and we'll see what we got here. So packaging, okay, there's nothing in here, just a little bit of foam and padding in the bottom. And then you got your knife. Let's see. Put this to the side. So yeah, when you see this knife, just the handle design a little bit, it reminds a little bit of Gearz, maybe of I would say what is the other brand? Can't remember, but it's I looked at the photos and everything, and it does a little bit resemble those, but it's not like at all in general. Especially like the flipper tab. This here is it's got a design hole, whatever, or there's nothing special about this flipper tab, but it's not like, it doesn't look like anything Gearz has designed. The same with when the knife is open, it looks a little different. But yeah, it's this knife here has titanium scales. As I mentioned, it's got the what is it called? Damascus steel blade with a real core. So it's a cored blade. You can see this is not just etched on it. You can see that core goes all the way around, even on the flipper tab. So yeah, this is real Damascus. This is not just some etched stuff. And then we got I believe, titanium pocket clip. Yep, that's a titanium pocket clip too. And then the budget seal, of course, you got a frame lock, a full frame lock. You don't have an over travel stop here, but yeah, that's fine. I mean, this knife was not that expensive. It's I think $66, so that's why I picked it up. I felt like, for $66, titanium, full scales, and Damascus blade to make it, just to have a little bit more fancier looking knife, isn't bad. So let's get the idea here. It's also, you can see it's a slim carry profile. Just real quick, in comparison, for instance, with let's take my Drift LCT. You can see this knife carries a little bit slimmer, because of the contouring, of course. We don't have contouring going on these scales. But yeah, so let's get us idea of the size of the knife. Drift. Well, we had that already here. So it's a little bit longer than the drift, actually. It's also a little bit longer than the equivoc, but not as tall as either of them, because it's overall a very slim profile in all directions. So then we got the Civivi Placoid and the Sencut Frontera. You can see they're both larger in either way, like tall and longer. And then we also have here the Beluga, which it's longer than the Beluga a little bit, but also not as tall as the Beluga. And then here you can see the Lander 1, which is also pretty close when it comes to I mean, it's longer. Sorry, not close. Sorry, it's longer than the Lander. I don't know where my mind went right now. So, but yeah, overall, but this is in general a very long knife. Like I've looked at the measurements on Amazon, and Amazon listed this as around 8.5-inch knife. So that's quite large. And let's look at the reason why this is. Bam. So you can see this is a very, very long blade. Like the handle blade ratio is almost identical. Like this is a very, very long, slim, slicey blade. So the one thing that I have seen, which that is kind of annoying a little bit, I think this is probably the only bad point about this knife. But I bought it anyways because I just wanted something a little bit different. Yes, this is a Chinese knife, but it's, like I said, it's not a clone or anything. They just produce, I mean, yes, Tactical Gearz, I think, is known for producing some clones too. But I could be wrong, but I was told that. I'm just saying, in general, this logo here, they could have put this logo easy on the pocket clip, and not to kind of ruin the blade the way it looks. Because look at this side. Look at how nice this is with the etching. I mean, like how the Damascus comes out of this, and it also comes out really nice on this side. But this Tactical Gearz logo, yeah, it might, the way it depends on how you hold it. Like certain angles you can see it a lot, and then certain angles you hardly ever recognize that the logo is even there, depending on how the sun falls onto it or how the lighting falls onto it. But yeah, in general, it is a very large knife, very slim but long knife. Excuse me. So you can see, like, what the hell is going on with this little hair? I just don't want to go away. Sorry about that. So you can see, let's take one of my longer knives, actually. You can see this is the Civivi Placoid, and they're toe-to-toe in length. Like, yeah, this is much slimmer to carry, but when it comes to length, they literally trade punches here. The only knife that's longer in my personal collection right now is the Sencut Frontera, and that's I'd say by a 1/4 inch maybe. But yeah, it is a really, really long, slim knife. Like you see here, for instance, if you look at the Drift LCT and even the WE Knives Equivoc, you can see they're both shorter than this knife by, yeah, about a 1/4 inch at least. Like the Equivoc is about a 1/4 inch, and the LCT is even about 1/2 inch shorter. So yeah, this is a very, very long blade. So let's give you the idea. Let's check real quick the weight on this knife because it's not that heavy. Yeah. So let's look. It is not the lightest, but I wouldn't say it's heavy. So you're right around 4.13 ounces, which is great. This is like I like this type, like around between 4 and 5 ounces is my favorite weight for knives. Depending on which knife you got. So let's get an overall length on this guy. Where's my trusty tape measure? Here it is. So you can see the knife overall is yeah, 8. It's about a 16th. No, sorry. Yeah, it's about a 16th short of 8.5 inches. So yeah, that's quite large. We got a blade length of 3.45 or 3.4 inches or so. No, sorry, 3.5. No, what am I saying? 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, almost 3.75 inches of blade. Like it's about 3.7 inches of blade. We got a cutting edge, which that is also one negative point. It hardly has a choil here. I mean, for sharpening is probably a little hard. You probably get really quick onto this edge here because you don't have no sharpening choil at all. Which that's probably the biggest negative about this knife. But other than that, we got a cutting edge of nearly 3.75, or yeah, right at 3.75 inches. So that is big, in my opinion. So let's look at the thing one more time in a close up, so you can see this. It's got a good edge on it, and you can see, like I said, you can see the core all the way around. It is 100% real Damascus steel, just with a VG10 core. I believe the HRC they listed for this knife was somewhere between 60 and 62, which is pretty good. I can't test it because I'm only reviewing designs, maybe here and there usage a little bit. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is also not a review. This is just first impressions. But yeah, in general, so when you open it, the action is pretty smooth. You don't have really a forward choil here, so you need to stay away from this edge. But here, in general, you can put your thumb up here. You got a pretty large blade. I got large hands, so you can see. I still get a full grip on this knife. And it's a thin blade. You got, what is the blade stock? Let's see. The frame lock works nice. You got decent action on this knife. Let's check the blade stock thickness here real quick. So let's see. We're at 127. So it's a little thicker on top, but it's got a really thin edge going on, actually. I guess it's a little thicker around on top just because of the length of the blade. Because, I mean, to keep the blade, especially also because of the core, to keep the blade a certain way to not have a tip that breaks off too easy. You can see you get still a pretty focus. You got still a pretty decent tip on this. It's not too thin. I mean, yeah, it's not too made to pry, but which knife isn't? Or which knife is made for that? You shouldn't, if you pry with this knife, then you're doing something wrong. it's made to cut. So let's see how the factory edges. I haven't used this yet. I don't know. I might have to sharpen this a little. Oh no, it's actually pretty decent. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty slicey. It might need a little sharpening, but it still cuts paper pretty good. But yeah, overall, I'd say if you can get over the fact that you have this really annoying writing on here, you have, as you can see, there's no weight relief in there. Those are not at all weight relief, but I mean the weight is pretty decent at 4.1 ounces, so that's not really an issue. But yeah, if you can get over this printing here, and the fact that the only deployment method is a flipper tab, in general, and you still have a pretty decent action on this knife. T6, you can see, I mean, you can clearly see this is T8, this is T. I don't even have to pull out my tools for that. This is T6 body screws, T6 screws on the pocket clip, T8 on the. Oh yeah, you have no captive, or I'm not sure if it's actually captive pivot or not. I'll have to. I don't think it is captive pivot. You have to actually, because you literally got a screw on both sides. So yeah, if you can get over these little things, I think for $66, it's still a decent pickup. Especially, like I said, it looks decent. It feels good in the hand. It's a decent designed knife. Yes, might be maybe a little bit, design elements copied in from Sugarov and a few other brands that build knives similar to this. But there's so many designs out there. I mean, it's hard to not copy somebody at this point. I mean, it would be a blatant copy if you go on AliExpress or whatever, and you literally go to certain sellers and you order a literal, intended copy of a knife. That's something completely different than this here is. So, like I said, I would not review any clones on my channel. I'm not against clones buying or whatever, but I wouldn't put them out as review on my channel. It's just not legitimate. It's intellectual theft of what the manufacturers do. So yeah, I would not review them. But yeah, this is still, I'd say it might be heavily influenced by certain knives like the Sugarov and I can't remember the other brand right now out of my head. But in general, it's not a clone, and it feels pretty decent. And I would, for $66, it's a good pickup. Probably out of 10, just, if I would have to rate this right now, pickup recommendation, if I had to give a point system up to 10, I'd give it a solid 8. And that's pretty good. I mean, 8 out of 10. It's a recommended knife as a pickup, especially if you like Damascus blades, which, like I said, this is my very first one. So I would recommend this, and please leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. I will link this knife in the description. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I'm now signed up with the Amazon affiliate program. So if you use my link, I get a little bit out of it. It doesn't cost you anything, and I would really appreciate it. It would help the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.